Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today, we're continuing our 5-year rebuild here on the channel. Today, we're doing the TCU Horned Frogs. It's getting close, ladies and gentlemen. CFB 26. It's almost here in a few weeks. I can't wait. I'm sure I've uploaded videos on the news, but we're still doing our rebuild series here in CFB 25. We'll do it next year in CFB 26. So if I don't rebuild your team this year, there's always next year. Now we're doing TCU. And just recently, TCU made the national championship against the Georgia Bulldogs, but they got embarrassed. We were rooting for TCU. If you weren't rooting for TCU, I don't know what you were doing. Sorry. Anyway, right now, TCU, they come as an 83 overall, 82 on the offense, 85 defense. They run the air raid and a multiple defense. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is the TCU roster quarterback Josh Hoover, who might be a top quarterback next year. Also, Tennessee was trying to tamper with this man. They were unsuccessful, though. We got Ken Seals. We got Haas Henjai, who has 91 speed. He could be something for us, depending on how he develops. Cam Cook, the running back. We have two freshmen here. They look pretty solid. Fullback, we have Matthew Blair. Receivers, Jack Best. He was drafted by the Raiders. Salvon Williams. I forget who he got drafted by. We got Eric McAllister. I believe he was the Boise State transfer. We have JoJo Earl, the Alabama transfer. And then we have Mr. Geike Baker, 93 speed. Maybe he'll be good for us. We have Major Everhart, 96 speed. And then Donzi Ekozanma. I probably butchered that name. It's 91 speed. So receivers look nice. We have this guy, Jax Porter, with 84 speed. We have Danby at a 75. LT, we have Bless Harris. We have two freshmen. We may not need left tackle. Left guard, we have three juniors. Center, we have James Brockmeyer with Cooper Powers, a freshman. Carson Bruno is starting right guard. Mitch, we have him. We have Mike Nichols starting right tackle. And then Harvey, defense. This guy, Nana Oso-Mensa, I believe he was the Notre Dame transfer. This past season, we have Avion Carter, freshman redshirt. We have Tristan Johnson at the right end, freshman. We have Timon Mitchell, the D tackle. 82 speed for the freshman. We'll see how he develops there. Yeah, I mean, our defense kind of looks a little weak. Maybe. I don't know. Our offense kind of looks pretty good. But, you know, we're here for a reason. We're here to win a national title. We're here to build a dynasty. So, let's get recruiting. Sam Tung committed. Larry Kiki committed. Carl Dog, my dog, commits. Manuel Cesaro committed. John Dragazama committed. Forrest Vanover committed. Terrence Brents commits. Kane Proctor committed. Addison Terrell committed. Larry Durham committed. Jesse Baera committed. Tavares Lacey committed. Tim Agadu committed. Jemison Gentry committed. Jason Creer committed. Artez Knight commits. Talia Savoy committed. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Heisman Trophy winner is Will Howard, quarterback from The Ohio State. He had 3,836 yards, 41 tutties, and 4 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, taking on the Charlotte 49ers. And ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have won the Liberty Bowl here in year one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year one stats. Hoover, 3,714 yards, 247 from 410, 38 tutties, 10 picks, 60% completion percentage. How about the rushing? Cook, 179 for 829, 7 tutties. Sanders, 49 for 241, 6 tutties. Hoover, 44 for 164. Major, 23 for 87, 1 tutty. Williams, 4 for 18. Trent, 2 for 7. How about receiving? Earhart, 65 for 925, 9 tutties. Williams, 48 for 849 tutties. My controller is about to die. Beach, Beck, 34 for 619, 6 tutties. Earl, 21 for 463, 5 tutties. Drake, 39 for 369, 5 tutties. JP, 8 for 242 tutties. Cam Cook, 30 for 217, 1 tutty. Eric, 1 for 19. Trey, 5 for 17. And DJ Rogers, 1 for 5 with a tutty. How about the defense here? 85 tackles for Caleb. Johnny with 73. 62 for Abe. Austin, 60. 59 for Bud. James, 54. 49 for John Travis. And Namdi. 41 for Devontae Deal. Tackles lost 8 by Paul, 7 by Namdi and Devin Deal. 6 by Deal. Caleb with 5, along with Johnny and Mitchell. 2 by Nana, 1 by Abe, and Austin Jordan. Sacks, we had 4.5 by Nambi, 3 by Deal and Nana. 2 by Paul, 1.5 by Deal. Mitchell with 1.5, 1 by Jared Travis, half by Caleb, Abe, and Bud Clark. Interceptions, 3 by Jared Travis and Abe and James, 2 by Austin Jordan, Caleb with 1, and Bud Clark with 1. Honestly, we did not want to be in the Liberty Bowl. We want to be back in the national title here at TCU, but it is what it is on the year 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Miami v. Tulane in the national title, and Miami took the belt out and gave it to Tulane, 51-17. Tavares Mabin committed. Matthew Golden committed. Jeremiah Ballard committed. Terrence Brooks commits. David Godse Jr. committed. Dante Carter committed. Blake Thompson committed. Jacoby Jackson committed. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the 7th best class in the nation. That's top 10. We got a lot of good potential here on the year 2. Dre Mears committed. Glenn Ramsey committed. Tyler Burbridge committed. Thondre Claddy committed. Tevin Cahill committed. Ramon Bradford committed. Amron Brown committed. Tyler Fihoko committed. Brock Emery committed. James Rico committed. Mike Casey committed. Nick Bacca committed. Jimmy Frash committed. Louis Spadola committed. Brian Michael committed. Elias Garcia committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Big 12 Championship, taking on the Baylor Bears. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Heisman Trophy winner is Sawyer Robertson, quarterback of Baylor. He had 3,240 yards, 31 tutties, and 4 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the college football playoff, taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions. And ladies and gentlemen, we fall in the first round, 38-33. And ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 2 stats. Josh Hoover, 3,391 yards, 267, 492, 35 tutties, 7 picks, 54% completion percentage. Rushing, Cook, 136 for 651, 6 tutties. Payne, 89 for 389, 5 tutties. Hoover, 65 for 153. James, 15 for 149, 2 tutties. Vanover, 8 for 24. McAllister, 4 for 19. And Major Everhart, 4 for 4 with a tutty. Receiving, Golden, 54 for 799, 8 tutties. McAllister, 48, 715, 7 tutties. Everhart, 36 for 548 with 6 tutties. Porter, 44 for 438, 5 tutties. James, 28 for 362, 2 tutties. Vanover, 13 for 195, 4 tutties. Cam Cook, 26 for 189, 1 tutty. Payne, 16 for 118, 1 tutty. Baker, 1 for 20. Trent, 1 for 7 with a tutty. Defense, 90 tackles for Caleb. Johnny, 74, 67 for Austin Jordan. Brooks, 66, 63 for Johnson. Deal, 59, 49 for Clark. Gotcha Jr., 43. Paul, 42. Tackles for loss, 9 by Deal, 8 by Paul, 5 by Deal. Terrell and Michael with 3. 2 for Brooks, Godse Jr., and Carter. 1 for Caleb. Bud Clark and Max Sachs. We had 11 by Deal, Paul with 7, 6.5 by Devon Deal, Carter with 4, Michael with 2.5, 2 for Addison, Max with 1, along with Johnny Hedges. Half sack for Brooks, Caleb. 6 interceptions by Austin Jordan, Bud Clark with 3, 2 for Johnny and Caleb, 1 by David. Ladies and gentlemen, we made the playoffs here in year 2. I think year 3, we could go a little bit farther in the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, Georgia and USC met for the national title, Big Ten versus SEC. And of course, the SEC and the Georgia Bulldogs come on top, 45-38. Josiah Galvin committed. Terrence Carter committed. Jerome Williams committed. Calvin Harvey committed. Gibson Pyle committed. Quinn Travian Weisner committed. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the 2nd best class in the nation here in year 2. We have gotten 2 top 10 classes here at TCU. I think year 3 could be our year, potentially. Let's go. Alejandro Souza committed. Jared Hurd committed. John Stevens committed. Brian Laguda committed. Taylor Patino committed. Greg Shelby committed. Josh Alonzo committed. Josh Nielsen committed. Rakeem Kim Kondo. Rakeem Kondo committed. Colin Keelan committed. Alejandro Rabadell committed. Landon Hawkinson committed. Garrison Noel committed. Manny Incognito committed. Danny Dunbar committed. Ladies and gentlemen, we somehow went 7-2 in the conference, 8-4 on the year. We're playing for the Big 12 championship, and if we win, we just very, very well might sneak into the playoffs. Joey Wyatt committed. Alejandro Luck commits. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2026 Heisman Trophy winner is Christopher Visnia, quarterback of Clemson. He had 3,841 yards, 41 tutties, and 7 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, taking on the Louisville Cardinals. And ladies and gentlemen, we fall in a thriller, 34-31. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 3 stats. Josh Hoover had 3,866 yards, 262, 469, 36 tutties, 7 picks, 55% completion percentage. Wisner, 185 for 909, 4 tutties. Hoover, 64 for 148, 3 tutties. James, 16 for 131, 2 tutties. Palmer, 21 for 79, 2 tutties. Payne, 10 for 27, 2 tutties. And Kiki, 4 for 4, 1 tutty. Cam Cook, 1 for 1. How about the receiving here? Larry Kiki, 65 for 1,011, 8 tutties. James, 53 for 821, 13 tutties. Vanover, 42 for 690, 3 tutties. Carter, 46 for 510, 5 tutties. Dog, 31 for 453, 5 tutties. Wisner, 19 for 154, 1 tutty. Baker, 4 for 110. Payne, 2 for 15, 1 tutty. Nate Palmer, 1 for 2. How about the defense here? 86 tackles for Galvin. Salter, 75, 71 for McGee. Johnson, 69 as well as McIver Jr., 62 for Canada. He looks good, man. I like that hair. That looks very clean. I'm gonna edit that out. 57 tackles for Isaac Lane, Max with 51. Tackles for loss, 8 by Addison, 7 by Paul, Max with 4, 3 by Galvin, McIver, Carter, and Deal, 2 by Salter, McGee, Johnson, Canada, and Bax with 1 sacks, 9.5 by Carroll, 6.5 by Addison, 4.5 by Deal, 3.5 by Galvin, Paul with 3, 2.5 for Carter, McIver Jr., 1.5, same with Salter, 1 by Devin, and 10.5 sack by Jamal Johnson. Interceptions, 5 by McGee, Galvin with 2, Salter with 2, 1 by McIver Jr., Johnson, and Canada. Obviously, after last year, a very disappointing year 3, we're on the year 4. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, your year 3 national championship, Kansas State, Michigan, and Kansas State on top, 22-15. Ladies and gentlemen, here in year 3, we finished with the 3rd best class in the nation, 3 top 10 class. I think it's safe to say we got enough talent. I'm probably going to let the CPU recruit in year 4 anyway. Let's try to make the playoffs here in year 4. Let's go up. Juan Frasher committed. Chad Lampkin commits. Tito Delgado committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we are currently 10-2, number 2 in the land. And we're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats for our 3rd straight Big 12 appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2027 Heisman Trophy, the winner is Jaden Rashada, quarterback of Georgia. He had 4,212 yards. 43 tutties with 2 picks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the college football playoff, and we're going to be taking on the UCF Knights. And ladies and gentlemen, we take down UCF on to the quarters. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, taking on North Carolina. And ladies and gentlemen, we have won the Fiesta Bowl onto the semis. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, taking on the Pitt Panthers. And ladies and gentlemen, we have won the Cotton Bowl, and we're on to the Natty. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the National Championship, taking on the Florida Gators. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, NRG Stadium, home of the Houston Texans, playing for the national championship. I apologize, my air is on. It's late at night. I'm recording because it's very hot where I live right now, and I want to go to bed cold, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Florida Gators, TCU, excuse me. Florida v. Texas. Who's going to come on top? I don't know. Texas, home of a great high school football. They got bigger stadiums. Seems like Texas loves their football. TCU's been to the Natty more recently than Florida has in real life. Hopefully, this is the time TCU brings the national title home. Look at them. Look at this Horned Frog. Hypno-toad, baby. Hypno-toad. Haas Henji, 3-yard rush, 7-7. All right, we're down 14. We're going to go for it. 4th and 1. Henji. Right there in the flat, running back. Payne, he's going to get the first and a lot more. Let's go. Here we go. 1st and 10 after that. And hike it. Oh, we got him. But a terrible throw by my quarterback. And we lose fucking 3. We get hit as we throw. He almost caught it. I'm going for it, though. 4th and 13, we're going for it. Here we go. We're down 14, Henjai. Got a good throw. Are you gotta be shitting me? Kiki catches it, but flips it up in the air, and it's picked. Here we go, 3rd and 16. We're once again down 14. Defense let us down. Here we go. Right there, triangle. Drops it. 4th and 16. We're going to go for it. Here we go. Henjai. Terrible throw. Terrible fucking throw. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to fall to the Florida Gators here in the Year 4 national title. DJ Lagway, the Texas-born kid, brings Florida a national championship. He may have transferred. I don't know. Nope, there he is, DJ Lagway. Still there. Damn. Hey, at least we made it closer than TCU did in real life. But we have next year, folks. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here are the Year 4 stats. Hans Henjai had 4,433 yards, 301 for 434, 47 tutties, 16 picks, 69% completion percentage. Will he be the quarterback next year? I don't know. Probably, though. Payne, 229 for 836, 11 tutties. Henjai, 145 for 416, 4 tutties. Dog, 25 for 203, 2 tutties. Bradford, 42 for 134, 139, 3 tutties. Larry, 11 for 125, 2 tutties. Nate, 3 for 2. How about the receiving? Dog, 74 for 1,217, 18 tutties. Kiki, 68 for 1,190, 14 tutties. Vanover, 47 for 789, 5 tutties. Lacey, 47 for 495, 5 tutties. Exakama, 26 for 425, 3 tutties. Payne, 27 for 204. Bradford, 8 for 74 with a tutty. Tongue, 33 for 33 with a tutty. Lafayette, 1 for 6. And the defense, 100 tackles for Salter. Isaac with 81, 79 for McGee. Devin, 78, 73 for Patino. Cahill, 71, 65 for Emmanuel. Carter, 64, 55 for Max. Tyler, 46, 43 for Addison. Tax for loss, 14 by Carter. Terrell, 13, 11 by Tyler. Max with 7, 6 by Cahill. Claddy with 5, 4 for Salter. Devin with 3, 2 for Brown and Mears. 1 by Taylor and Emmanuel. Sack, 16.5 by Carter. 8 by Max. 6 by Tyler. 2.5 by Claddy. 2 by Addison and Tim. 1.5 by Devin, 1 by Jesse, Salter with a half, and Mayers and Taylor. Interceptions, 7 by McGee, Cesaro with 4, 3 by Devin and Evan, Isaac with 2, Maven with 2, 1 for Salter, and Patano. Obviously, disappointing end in Year 4, but we have one more year. Let's go. Jacob Ponton committed. Chad Bauman committed. Louis Bravo commits. Frankie Arthur committed. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the 13th best class in the nation, the best in the Big 12. It didn't matter how we recruited this year. We are on to Year 5, and hopefully we bring the natty home. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know when you see this screen, on recruiting on, let's get the simming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently 5-3, ranked 19th in the land. We still have hope at the playoffs. We got Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Arizona. It's going to be tough, but as long as we beat Baylor and Arizona, I mean, we can make the playoff. We can make the playoff, the Big 12 championship. I don't know, but let's get back to the sim. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have made the Big 12 championship, and we're taking on Utah. If we win, we may get a bye. And ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have won the Big 12. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Sugar Bowl, taking on the Miami Hurricane. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Caesars Superdome for the Sugar Bowl. I'm sorry about my air. Again, when I'm recording this, it's late. I want to keep the room cold. Anyway, Miami's ranked number 2. They somehow did not win the conference. I don't know how. But, you know, they're going to be tough. It's meant to be tough. They're not meant to be easy. We got to win the national title for that freaking Horned Frog. I mean, dude, that thing just looks so funny to me. I don't know why. Here we go. Miami, TCU, winner to the semis. And we scored and I missed it. Fuck. Alrighty, Larry Kiki with a 57-yard touchdown to make it 17-21 at the half. All right, 3rd and 6. We're down 11 here. Henjai. We go play action on 3rd and 6. Terrible throw, but he gets the first. Exokama, gonna go a little no huddle. I want to get one more play off before this quarter ends. Here we go. Henjai, whatever the hell you call his name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh my God, Ekakama. That's gonna put us at 1st and goal at the start of the 4th. Maybe we can get it off. No, we're not. Chance to cut into this lead. Henjai hands it off. Palmer's gonna go nowhere. 2nd to go from the 8. Here we go. Palmer's going to go nowhere again. All right, 3rd and goal from the 7. Don't force it. We can still kick a field goal. Here we go. Henjai. Terrible pass, but at least it's not picked. All right, it looks like Cyrus Reyes gets the pick 6. 24-28. We missed the field goal, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, Miami fucking cheaters. They're fucking cheaters. They purposely did not win the ACC so that way they would play us, and Miami beats us, and our national hopes are done. We lose. Ladies and gentlemen, we left 4 points on the board. We missed the field goal, and we went for 2, and when we should have kicked the extra point. We could have made it, it should have been 27-35 in the final drive for us. But, you know, it is what it is. Miami, always cheaters, bro. They had to purposely lose the ACC conference so that way they get an easy road to natty. I'm going to make sure Miami doesn't, because if I do continue this dynasty, I'll make sure Miami loses. A very disappointing end. We recruited a lot of talent at this school. I'm very shocked. We blew it last year. We blew it against Florida last year. We blew it again against Miami. I mean, I'm ashamed at how this rebuild went, kind of, in a way. I mean, TCU might just be cursed, but anyway, there's always next year. We'll get them next year in CFP26. If you've enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe. When I hit like and subscribe, you motivate me to keep doing this. I am sorry about my air conditioner. I want to sleep in a cool, crisp room. Gotta leave it on until I go to bed, and sorry it affects the video quality. Leave a comment. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you. Yeah, so have a good day, have a good night, depending on when you watch this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.